Welcome back, guys, to This and Much More podcast. I'm Evelyn and my co-hostess,
Rollie Vogues.
and our special guest today is
Chopped by Rob.
Chopped by Rob. What's your full name, Robert?
Yeah, Robert Gravis, but I used to get called Robert like throughout high school. That was well before high school. That's all I ever heard. But the moment I went to high school, it was Rob, Bob, Bobby, Bobbert, Robert. I mean, everything in between. Yeah. I mean, the boys and all.
Bobbert.
Literally, I heard everything. So it's like ever since I put out the name Chopped by Rob, like everybody just started saying Rob, and I don't hear anybody say Robert anymore. So when
you gotta give yourself the name too, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I've embraced Rob. I feel like it pictures me more rather than Robert.
Yeah, I see you more of a Rob.
Yeah, when I was younger, I hated it though. I would hate it. I don't know why. You hated
Rob?
I just hated anything that wasn't Robert. But
you were owning up to your name. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Like,
well, even earlier on, like in elementary school, I would add an O at the end of my name just because I thought it was.
You wanted to be Roberto?
And, yeah, because that's what my teacher, like my daycare, would call me. So like when I had a substitute in class, I would just add an O at the end just because.
So would they mark you absent because they wouldn't find the Roberto?
No, they wouldn't.
No, straight up though, I feel like it was like my name too. Like I'm Rolando, and then they would call me Orlando. Roland.
My family calls him that.
Ronaldo, you know, shit like that.
My family always calls him Roland.
Now,
but they have
does that get on your nerves? Like at what point?
The Orlando and all that would like it would piss me off. But I mean, it's just people that just can't say my name. I mean, I guess I stuck with like people when they say it in English, they're just gonna call me Rolando, you know, like that too, you know, but. That's why I changed it to Roland. It was Roland, but like Rolen. And then over time it became Rollie Vogues, and then now it's just Rollie.
So when I met him as like a friend, I always thought his name was Roland, not Rolando. So then I used to be like, oh, Roland, whatever. I still call him that. I never call him like by his real name.
It's like in a way, it's like it's kind of like Robert too. It's like an older man name. So it's like when you're young, you don't want to be an old man name. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
it's like as a white person, like the last thing I would want to do is attempt to roll my R or say it the right way and just say it wrong and sound stupid. But I try. Actually, I really never use people's names. I don't know if that's weird. I kind of wait for them to look at me. I feel like I'm never in a position to call out to somebody's name
unless like you're a teacher or something. Right?
Yeah, like when would I ever refer to somebody as their name?
Like, what do you mean?
Like if you're looking at me, why would I use your name?
You're just gonna talk to them?
Yeah,
you're just talking.
Like, what's up?
Yeah,
like,
I'm bad with names. So even with my clients, like I'll look at my day and see all the people that are coming in.
Yeah.
And when they walk in, like,
for real,
that's gone. Yeah.
Whenever I do invoices, like I'll write like their name, but then like it'll give you like a little like note section, and I just put their Instagram. Because sometimes they just go, like, I just know them by their Instagram name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably call them, like, instead of, like, obviously your name is in your handle, right? But imagine if it was just, like, Chopped.
No, it's like
Supreme Chopped or something.
It's like with Tank. Like, Tank, I've known him for years, and it's like...
I don't know his real name.
What is his real name?
I forgot his real name. He told us on the podcast.
Yeah, he told us on the podcast.
I only know. I just know him by Tank.
Yeah. But then I feel like a lot of the people that come across him like new, they'll just call him Tank be chopping. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I was gonna say. So like if it was like if your name, let's say, was Supreme Chop or something, I would know. Like I would
refer to him as like Supreme. You know?
That.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, I think you're really good with names. I think.
Yeah, I'm good with names and I'm good with names and like faces, like putting them together, like usually, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not good with names. Yeah. The reason is because I don't feel comfortable saying a name and then like saying it so wrong. Right. You know what I mean? And I just want to avoid that.
Yeah. So, okay, so like whenever you don't know somebody's name, like do you get kind of shy to be like, hey, like what's your name again? Or
especially if you've already known them. Like for clients that I know their name. Like I know their name, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Like we're in too deep for me to say, "Hey, how do you pronounce?" I hope I'm never in the position to where I have to refer.
Or just give them a nickname, right?
Yeah, I've done that before.
Thing 1, thing 2.
Okay, not like that either. Like
I think
client number 500.
No, I think I'm good at like just being like, man, bro, like my bad, you know. But like, what's your name again? Or
Right.
just it's better to just to like say it, you know, and then just keep
I think I let
pretending.
him handle that if I'm in a situation with him.
Yeah,
Like,
it happened recently. Like we were at an event with John, the one that did the vintage documentary.
oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
what's up, Rollie? And oh man, you're here, whatever. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, fuck, what's his name, bro? You know. But I'm like, you know what, bro? I follow you on Instagram, and I know we've talked before, but I just don't remember your name, you know.
Yeah.
Like, but it rarely happens.
That's
bro.
I mean
Like,
that's a trait you can like respect.
yeah.
Like I respect that because that's a hard thing to do. But I feel like in high school I had like social anxiety, so when I
Yeah.
meet people, I'm so focused on like how I present myself. When they tell me their name, I'm not even listening. Like, I'm just completely locked in with,
what do I say next? Or
was my handshake firm enough? Did I do this
Oh.
and that?
Okay,
Like,
so I was
Yeah.
talking about first impressions. Are those important to you?
I think so. Yeah.
Like on your behalf or how they present themselves?
in terms of like, am I worried about how I present myself?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like just like the way like I'm dressed, you know, the way I'm pronunciating things. I feel like I overthink stuff like that. So like
Yeah.
afterwards I meet somebody, I'll be
Yeah.
driving in the car like, damn, did I stutter? Did I do this? Did I do that?
Well-
I don't know why.
Well, with us,
Yeah.
don't feel like that when you leave.
yeah, even
'Cause
though it
you're-
might happen after you leave here, it might happen because it happens to a lot of people, you know.
It's just because
Like-
you're so locked in on the situation. Like,
Yeah.
there's just you're like, it's a new environment, new people. You're just picking up on so many things. You don't really have time to just pick at those things
Yeah.
until later when you're
You're
just,
like, damn, I
Yeah,
should have
you're
said
overwhelmed
this.
and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It happens. It happens to us. Like even as hosting like our guest or whatever. Like sometimes like, damn, we should have asked this, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but it's just we're here for like a certain amount of time and. This conversation literally started off with just names.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. Like,
that's just hindsight speaking. You know, like in
Yeah.
the moment, you just, like I said, you're meeting new people. You're trying to observe them. You're trying to pick up on, you know, their habits, their traits, and it's like those shower thoughts. When you're in the shower, you think of all the perfect ways to like.
Yeah.
You would have said an argument or what you would have done this better, but
Yeah,
yeah,
It's just
I
in the
know.
moment.
And I think it happens more when you argue that you're just speaking more of like emotions and you're not really like
yeah,
think. I know that happens to me a lot with him because he comes back with some good comebacks while we're arguing, and then I'm just like, damn, he got me right. And then we stop arguing, and I'm just like, damn, I should have said this to get him back. Like, you know.
say some personal shit. Nah, but like let's kind of backtrack a little bit and like just right now you're located in Northwest Houston. Have you always been there?
always, yeah. My studio that I opened is 2 minutes from my house. One light.
Isn't that like great? Like,
It's a blessing. It wasn't my intention. It was just they were building a load of like office warehouses that happened to be down the street. I was actually trying to get another warehouse and I got declined because there was already another barber there, and the other barber didn't want any competition. But I really wanted that spot because it was nice. So I was telling the landlord, like, dude, like I'm private, like I'm not competition to nobody. You know, like even that studio I have now, I have no signs outside. Because it's not that I don't want people to know I'm there, but it's like I want my privacy. I want you to only know I'm there if you know I'm there, you know?
yeah, or if you book an appointment.
Exactly. But so it's like I try to convince him to understand that I wasn't competition to anybody and like I'm not going to be here fighting for clients.
Yeah, you're not taking walk-ins.
Yeah,
like,
but
Yeah.
they weren't having it. They declined me and I just happened to be driving by and it was there. Saw them putting up the framework and I saw the sign. It was said not leasing so and so and so. So I called the number and I had to wait for them to finish building it and just kind of stay patient with it. But yeah, it's a blessing to be right away from
everything
home.
happens for a reason.
100%.
Literally.
I was mad. Like I really wanted that other spot, you know. And as soon as I signed on the spot I'm at now, other dude called, hey, you know what? And I was just like, yeah, I already got it situated, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Appreciate it. Because I was like, I don't know. I took it personal. I have a hard time not taking things personal.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that personal, and I was butthurt a little bit. That
Yeah.
he wouldn't
Yeah.
want me there.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see though, like how I can see from the landlord being like, okay, well, no, because he's here first, and I get that. But if you're explaining your situation too, then, I mean, I guess I would take the money.
You
Right?
take the money, like
Yeah,
as
like
in-
if it's my building, and if you're a barber and he's a barber, and he's telling me, and you already you're like, no, you know.
yeah, like even you right now, like explaining the situation, I would have been like, okay, like
Well,
he's
then if you're
private,
not
like,
taking
he's-
walk-ins,
Yeah,
yeah, it'd be
I've
no
never taken
issue.
a walk-in ever. So I don't have a barber's like pole outside the building. I don't even have the name of the studio outside. 3% tint on the windows, you can't see in, and it's like. Yeah, but I really wanted to be there. I felt like that was the right move, you know. So like if I had control of the situation, I would have been there. Yeah. But you know, God had a different plan, like you said. Everything happens for a reason. So. Yeah.
So let's back it up a little bit more. So since when have you been cutting hair?
Senior year. My senior year was when like COVID like broke out. Junior year actually. Junior year COVID broke out. So you know we went home. You know we were doing school from online. Senior year we got the chance to go back or stay home. I was doing like dual credit classes, so like you would get credit for college while in high school, but I hated it. I hated school. I was decent at it, but it's like I didn't truly apply myself, nor did I really feel like I was growing as a person. And high school, I just dealt with, you know, just like everybody goes through their own mental challenges. I was going through it, and I realized college would put me in like a deeper hole if I was to have pursued it, and I figured anything would be better. So originally the plan was just military. You know, I'd rather go to the military and deal with that lifestyle rather than go to college. Well, I had an older cousin in the military. He was in the Marines at the time, and I used to like just about stay with him every day in the summer when my parents would work. So kind of have like he was an older brother type of relationship. So I looked up to everything he did, and I figured, man, he's doing it. I think it looks cool. Yeah. Not to say it's easy, you know.
Yeah. My cousin just left. That's why I'm asking, because he just left, and he's the baby out of the cousins, right?
Yeah. And out of his family.
What branch?
And out of his family. I don't know where he's at. Yeah. I just know he literally told us, like, the week of that he was leaving. Yeah. And I was like, why? Like,
yeah, like, low-key, like, he told us Halloween night. He was like, hey, I haven't told nobody, but I'm leaving. And my immediate reaction was like, for what? Like... You know, but I mean, that's just me. I don't have anybody in the military. I don't know.
He's the first one in our family.
So I'm like, for what? Like, my immediate reaction was like, for what? You know, and then he's like, what? Or whatever. And I'm like, you know what?
No, he said, do you mean?
He's like, I forgot what he said. But then I'm like, you know what? Like, my bad. Like, what's your reason or why, you know? And then he's just like, oh, it's because I want to learn how to, like, I don't know, like.
He had his reasons.
Yeah, but it was more of like to get a license to drive, or I don't know, like drive some sort of vehicle or something, because I don't even know how it works, honestly. I'm just speaking because
I'm not sure either, but I know for a fact now, you know, that's definitely not the move. But yeah, I was gonna go to the military because I didn't know what else to do. I just figured it can't be as bad as my current situation with school.
Yeah.
But I was literally doing like that online school and came across a YouTube video, and it was literally called Why You Should Be a Barber. And at this point, like, I had been going to a barber for like 6 months. Other than that, I was going to like the lady that did my mom's hair or sports clips. So I wasn't even in the industry or around the culture.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know what made me click on the video. I clicked it, and the reasons weren't like reasons that would truly get you to, oh, I gotta be a barber. It was like, you work in AC all day, you make your own schedule, which is all pros to the job. But I don't know. I watched it, and at that moment, like, there was never a doubt or like a question. It was just like barber school. Yeah. I called up the nearest barber school, and they didn't answer. Kept calling. Took about a week. Finally got a hold of them. They were like, come in and so you can see the school. So I told my high school I was gonna go to the University of Houston to go tour a campus, because I didn't know if they would be like, oh yeah, go to the barber school, you know, because you would have to get an excused absence.
Oh, okay.
So I lied and told them I was going to University of Houston, and went toward the school. And that same day, it was like $25,000 for tuition, but because of COVID, they knocked it down to $5,000 because nobody was going.
Oh wow!
So I was like, yeah, $5,000. And I was like, I signed up that day. And yeah, that was at the end of my senior year.
And did you pay for it, or did your parents help you?
Luckily, my parents had a little bit of money saved up for me to go to college. It would have still been hard for me to go to college, but what they had would have helped. But it was just enough to get me through barber school, which is a huge blessing.
And what were them like? Were they like supportive of it, or they were like, I don't know?
There was never a moment where they didn't support it, but it was always what if you did college too? You know, just because it's like, I wasn't around the industry. They're not around the industry. So neither of us were aware of the possibilities. But I don't know. Something was just telling me, like, this is it.
You just knew you wanted that, right?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It still blows my mind to this day, because I overthink everything, you know, whether it's the way we were talking about the way I present myself and the decisions I make. I never doubted that. I don't know why.
Like it was just like a gut feeling.
It was
right?
God, yeah. I just knew it was the right thing to do, and I think they saw for the first time, like in my eyes, like how serious I was. Cause I want to do sports. I've always said I wanted to have a business, this and that, but it was never like in detail. This is what I'm gonna do. And I think when I finally presented that to them, they understood that I'm set on this, and they're gonna have my back, and they did. So
Yeah.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed for sure.
Dang. And what about? Are you an only child?
Mm-mm. I have an older sister. I think she's 6 or 7 years older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
are you the baby?
I am the baby. I'm the baby of the whole family. Like, I have older cousins and all that, so I've always dealt with being picked on and all that kind of stuff. Tough love,
okay.
but I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
Not for anything.
No, yeah, it's like if it's like my cousin. Like my cousin's a barber, and he's the youngest one too. That's it, Miguel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, but it's kind of crazy. Like we said off camera that you're 21. Well, you just turned 21.
Yeah, just turned.
Yeah, so it's like, it's kind of wild, because how you're speaking about like, oh, high school or junior year and all that. But I'm like, man, that was like recent for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
when
it's
he
like,
said
3 years
said,
ago. Yeah.
he said
so,
during COVID, and I'm just like, dang.
because I learned how to cut my hair during COVID.
Oh yeah,
You know?
yeah,
Do you
you
still?
did.
But
Do you still?
Yeah, I still cut my own hair, but it's because I'm what's it called? I'm thinning out. So I'm like, there's no need for me to go to a barber, I'm just gonna cut my own shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's cool though. Like I'm glad that it's like, you say it's going well for you and everything, right? I mean it's
How long did it take for you to? Okay, so how did you even start? Like you went to the barber school. Like how are you getting your clients at the beginning?
Well, so like the barber school promotes like $5 haircuts. So like people in the area can come to the school, pay $5, and then get the cut. And if they want to tip you, they can. Rarely you'd get a tip. If you did, it was like they'd throw you $2 bills or something.
Oh, okay.
But so yeah, you would start the day off like classroom, like study. We literally had a textbook, units that we'd go through just like school. But after that, we would have time on the floor. The floor is like where you would cut hair. So they had multiple stations. So you would just set up, and as people came in, they would give you the ticket. So you'd go and get the person, cut their hair or whatever. And if you needed help, you could get students or the instructors. But you are not allowed to cut until you have like 2 months of experience. So you kind of the first 2 months you're just sitting around. So I just spent that time like watching YouTube videos on my phone and all that type of stuff. But yeah, mainly I got my clientele was just homies from high school and dudes I played sports with, the people that were at the barber school. But on the weekends, like at the time we had just graduated high school, so all my homies were at University of Houston. So I would go up there, sleep in their dorm. It was 4 of them, and they had like a little suite. It was 2 bedrooms side by side and a shared bathroom. So I would sleep on a cot. You know what one of those cots? It's like a fold. It's a fold out. It's like a little mesh.
Yeah.
It's like something you would sleep on if you were camping.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so I would sleep on that in between their beds, and then I would stay in their bathroom all day when they would go to class and just cut hair. So like the 2 weeks before, I would have them promote to all their college buddies, hey, $5 haircuts, $10 haircuts at our suite. So they would just come in, and I would just stand there all day cutting hair. So I would go back to barber school when the week started, 25 to 30 haircuts under my belt.
Yeah.
So I just started improving beyond quicker than everybody else because I was, putting in those hours outside of the school.
Oh.
Did they ever have y'all cutting like those little mannequin heads and stuff?
No, the mannequin hair actually is not good for the clippers because it's synthetic hair.
Yeah, it's like a little.
Yeah, and it's not like. It doesn't come out like a fade wood on them because it doesn't lay properly. Only time you would practice is if you were doing like shear work or if you were working on like perms or applying chemicals, that type of stuff. That's the only time you would work on a mannequin.
Okay. Yeah, because I always thought they were like.
So you know how to do
two.
perms?
To the bare minimum, just so I could pass my state exam, but I wouldn't be able to do it now.
So like, whenever you're in the school, like they kind of pretty much teach you everything across the board.
They give you a textbook that teaches you everything across the board, but really you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
The school will get you to pass your exam. That's
all it's for.
Yeah, and sanitation, all that type of stuff. The history of barbering, but in terms of actually getting the physical work done, you got to just put yourself in them uncomfortable situations, which most people at the school don't do. They get caught up in their friend groups. They don't want to mess up in front of the homies. That's embarrassing. The whole school is sitting there watching you. There's the stations, but whoever doesn't have a station just sitting there watching everybody cut hair.
Yeah.
So like you have a lot of eyes on you. So people would just take 2-hour-long lunches so they didn't have to cut. They would come in late or leave early so they wouldn't have to cut, or they would do anything they had to do, not bring their clippers just so they wouldn't have to cut in front of people. Yeah.
And you would cut in front of people?
Yeah. I didn't have a problem because I went into the school as one of the few people who had no idea about barbering.
Oh,
so I felt zero pressure because it's like everybody here knows I don't know anything. So it's like, what are they?
Yeah.
I have little expectations on me, you know?
Yeah.
There's people who are coming in that are like, yeah, man, I've been cutting 5 years already. So it's like when you hear that, you expect them to be good already.
Yeah,
so they're just there to get their license.
Yeah, because in Texas, you got to get 1,000 hours in the school. And then you got to take your written exam and your practical exam.
Yeah. I guess because I was thinking like, what is it? Because I mean, I feel like, I don't know if any of the barbers that I know didn't go to school, but I'm guessing everybody had to do some sort of schoolwork, right?
I mean, I think so, yeah.
Otherwise, you can't cut like in a shop or...
There are shops that are, you got to have your license. But there are also shops that need people in their renting spots. So I'm sure there's a whole bunch of spots that don't have anybody with licenses.
Are there people like... Is there some sort of like inspector that goes in there and like checks to see?
Yeah, they're called TDLR, Texas Department of License. Okay, yeah. But since COVID, they don't really check places like that. They're supposed to check like nail shops, hair shops, suites, barber shops, but I have never seen anybody come in anywhere I've been.
Yeah.
And they say they're out there, but I've never seen them.
It's when you least expect it too, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but I mean that's true. Like whenever do you see like people like that? Right.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in Houston, there's so many places everywhere. They can't possibly check everybody.
Yeah.
Now that I'm saying this, I'm gonna get checked.
yeah, that's true. That's what I'm thinking.
But then you don't even have a sign, so they're not gonna be able to find you.
That's not a barbershop here. Out.
But with that being said, guys, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be back. So off camera, I was asking him if he has kids, and he has 3 kids.
Nah.
Yeah.
You got 3 kids?
Yeah, and that's really the only reason why my mindset's the way it is, because I don't have any options.
Oh wow.
I'm just kidding, baby.
Oh my god, I was like, bro, I did not expect that. Oh shit.
We got you. I didn't think he was gonna play along, but then he did. So
no,
you're like,
crazy.
Wow.
I'm like, what?
No, 3 is crazy. 3 is crazy.
I just threw that out there.
I was like, there's no way, but I'm like, that's cool, shit.
Because I asked him, and he's like, nah, I don't got kids right now. And I was like, oh, yeah, you got 3 kids. And he's like, yeah.
Damn, your eyes are watery. Like.
I know, because it was funny. Because it threw me off that
and
he went
like,
along.
That's what my mindset is.
I know.
I'm like, it makes sense, you know?
Oh, my God. That was funny. Because he just went along with it without... I didn't even tell him I was going to do that. I just threw it out there. So he caught on, and then you're like, dang.
Because a lot of times, like, with my like business partner or my girl or my parents, like I don't lie, but I'll make fibs and just come up with stories out of nowhere because like
oh my god,
it's just fun, like you know.
Bro, it's cause that's what I do.
Oh my God,
I do that shit all the time.
He does.
And so my cousin calls me a
pathological liar.
Pathological liar, and I'm like, nah.
That's what y'all are.
No, pathological liar is somebody who has a habit of lying for no reason, but like intends for it to keep going. Like,
okay.
Like I'll willingly be like, I'm just playing. You know what I mean? Just because I'll just be, I'm just practicing my acting skills, and they'd be like,
oh my god.
No, yeah, I do that shit all the time, bro. Like any little thing, like it could be anything. I don't know, like
for no reason, just
no reason. Yeah. And then sometimes she gets on me a lot about it. So then what I'll do is like she'll say something. I'm like, I'm about to say this crazy thing.
The fact that he even thinks that. Like,
but like I don't.
That's why it's like.
If it happens, I just say it, you know. But then sometimes I catch myself thinking about what I'm gonna say, and I'm like, I shouldn't say it because then she's gonna get mad, or I don't know. So I just don't say my innocent little lie. You know what I mean?
Oh wow, innocent! Y'all come up with the craziest stories.
Well, I feel one time I think the craziest thing I managed to sneak by somebody was my business partner. I managed to trick him that I was on a 21 Savage song.
Wait, what?
So there's a 21 Savage song. I have no idea what it's called off the top of my head, but in the background, it's just him making a whole bunch of like pew pew pew. Like he's making gun noises, and I tricked him into saying that me and my friends in high school had done some stupid video on TikTok, and it blew up. and I was saying he sampled the sound.
The sound, yeah.
And, you know, I was sitting there mocking the sound, and he was like, damn, that's crazy. You know, how much money did y'all make? So, you know, I was just going on with it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, like that.
To this day, he claims I didn't trick him, but I can tell for a fact he believed it for a good.
Yeah, no, that's something I would do. Stuff like that, you know? Just
Yeah,
like,
he tried to do a whole story with Becky G. Because
what?
you're like, you were going to tell me this whole... Because he talks to her brother, right?
Becky G's brother?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know that, right? So he's like, you said you were going to tell me there's a big ass story.
Because we went to LA for our son's birthday. And we were like, oh, you know, I'm like, hey, I talked to... His name's Frankie. And he's like, I talked to Frankie, and he said when we go over there, like, that we can meet Becky G or whatever, and, you know, we can kick it with them. He'll probably give, like, he sells vintage, and I'm like, and he's gonna hook it up with, like, he's gonna hook up Milo with, like, some clothes and stuff. And then I was gonna tell her all this stuff, you know, and
I was literally looking at him.
And I knew her response was gonna be like, oh, that's so dope, you know, and I was gonna keep going like that, you know. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do none of that, you know. And then
And then he just told me he was going to do all of that. And I was literally, I remember looking at him, it's like I saw you thinking. Probably while you were thinking of making up that lie. But we're going to leave to LA like that next week or something.
Yeah.
So.
That's pretty funny.
Because you start feeling bad. You know, you realize like, this
Oh
is
my
too
God.
good. You know?
It's too good.
Yeah, this is way too good.
And that's why y'all are considered pathological liars.
Nah.
I just think it's like, it's a different type of creativity.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay,
Yeah.
no,
It is.
you
We're
did not just
storytellers.
okay.
That's how I like
Don't
to
make me make y'all do a script right now.
Nah, but as far as like your barbering career, I am curious to know, like, since you're private, right? Like, you have like private studio and stuff. Like, is that how you always want to keep it, or you want to end up like owning a shop with a bunch of people in there? Or?
Nah, never. Maybe like being an investor for a shop, just like to have income, but never my intentions to work in a shop, just because it's like I wasn't around that, you know, style. Like, a lot of people love it because that's their childhood. They remember their pops taking them to the barber shop.
Yeah.
I didn't have that, you know. So like, as I started going to a barber my junior year, like, it didn't, you know, impact me the way it impacts other people. So now I just really enjoy having my own space to film my videos for IG or whatever. I have no limitations. I have nobody telling me I can't do this, or I don't have to tell anybody, hey, keep it down. You know, it's me. And I can truly embrace the conversations that I have, whether they're deep or shallow. I don't think I could ever go into it, but it's because that's all I've never been in a space to cut hair that was.
And you like what you have going on.
I
right?
do. I love it.
And you've mentioned like you're like a business partner.
Yeah.
How does that work, or why do you have a business partner?
Well, it's a crazy story. We told the story to a client today because he was telling me that he had to tell he was telling me, oh, I talked about you at Thanksgiving yesterday, and I was like, why? Like, why are we all talking? And he was just saying how somebody asked how we met. We met in barber school. He was one of those guys that went into barber school, been cutting hair. So he was a vet at the barber school, even though he had only been there for like a month and a half longer.
Yeah.
But he was good already, and I didn't know how to cut hair. So those type of people in barber school don't hang out. You know, it's like the big dogs, and then you know the water boys over here.
Yeah.
And it was like my second week of actually like getting to cut hair at the school. I didn't know how to take a razor blade out of the straight razor, and I for some reason was flinging it like this, trying to get it to fly out.
Yeah.
And it did. It came out, and the blade went in between this middle finger and my fingernail, so it cut underneath the nail and the finger, and then it slid down my finger, and instantly I just had blood gushing down. And they have sinks at the station in the room, so my first instinct was to put my hand in there, but there's no water in there, so I had to sprint across the whole school. You know, I'm like this, like sprinting. So his story is that he was cutting hair and he saw me and run by, and at this point we had never talked before ever. He saw me run by, and he says to this day that he just felt some sort of attraction to go check on me. So he kept cutting hair for a little bit, but then he was like, hey, man, can you stay here? You know, he told that to his client. He said, I got to go run to the restroom real quick. He ran in there, and I'm sitting in here, like, I'm trying to use every bit of toilet paper and paper towel to stop the bleeding. But it's like the moment I would take it off to get a new, it would just like
Yeah.
My shoes had blood all over them. My pants had, I mean, it was a lot of blood, like no exaggeration. And he comes in there, he's like, bro, what happened? And I tell him, and he's like, okay, I have a friend that's EMT. He's like, this is what you need to do. So he started helping me and all that. And I was cool mentally. No, you're good. I was cool mentally. But physically, my body started going into shock because of how much blood it was. I was getting pale, getting lightheaded. Long story short, we sat in the bathroom for like 45 minutes after he helped me get it cleaned up. And we were just sitting there listening to music and just chopping it up. Ever since then, we were just locked in. We were real cool. And we cut side by side at the barber school for the next 8 months until we both graduated. The shop that we worked at, it was like a nail spot where women would get their nails done, but there was a private suite where we would work together. So it was just me and him for a little over a year, and then we opened the studio together. So it was never like I need a business partner. It was just like we were just locked in from I told him the other day, I'm a part of his journey, but he is my journey. Like there's never, he's been there since day one, you know, and it's like I've gone to him for everything. I mean, I know how to fade because of him. Yeah. You know, so it's, I say business partner, but he's really like he's like my dog. Like we go to church together.
So you think he would be, you consider him like your mentor?
Yeah, we mentor each other in different ways, you know. He's 10 years older than me, which is why it gives me like chills to talk about it, because he's been cutting hair since he was like 6 or 7. So it's like when we opened the studio, you know, just seeing it all come to fruition, we're about to hit a year being there. I told him like a month ago, I was like, dog, like God was working for this moment, you know, 25 years ago. I wasn't even born. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like everything that I went through that I thought was, that's not fair, or why is things not happening the way I wanted it, is because God intended for me to him to be in that studio. Which is why it blows my mind to this day, the way that everything, and then when he told me he felt that attraction and just go check on me, it just like further implemented, like I'm exactly where God wants me to be in this current moment. So
that's crazy.
It's a crazy story.
That's a crazy
I mean, me and him, we've like both of us and our girls went to Colorado together. I mean, we go to church together, like I said. Like my family is his family, you know, like I've hung out at his crib with his family and vice versa. So it's a real tight relationship.
Yeah, at this point, it's
like y'all are brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like we also have that ability where we can call each other out, like, yo, bro, you know, you're tripping right now. Like you need to get on your stuff. Like this is what you need to be doing with it. I'm better with the financial aspect, but he's got 10 years of experience, so he's more patient. You know, he understands things a little bit better. So sometimes, you know, I get, you know, a little ahead of myself, or I start getting frustrated with, you know, the way my business is going. I want to be better, you know, and he's just got that ability to just be like, yo, slow down, you know. But I'm a more analytical type of person. So when it comes to the finances, I'm locked in for the
and then y'all balance each other out pretty
100%. Much. It's like a couple. You know what I mean? Like it's literally it's the dynamic of our relationship is cool, and it wouldn't be a relationship you could just go out and find. And I'm just blessed that it came my way.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Do you feel like you were blessed because I came your way? Because I came your way.
Sure. What's the story?
You can say it.
Our story? Like, I mean, I'll sum it up. But, you know, I walked in through the doors of the cafeteria at the school.
Okay, relax. He's already saying it wrong.
And, like high school?
Yeah, we met in high school, but it's crazy because, you know, me and him we went to elementary, middle school, and high school together, but we didn't meet till high school. And because he's 2 years older than me, so you know, we were always. But he was in my cousin's grade, and I always would see him in high school, and I thought he was attractive, you know, but I just never went for it because I never wanted to date somebody from like the high school, you know, because like it was a small high school. It was like an early college. One of the first early colleges, right?
Yeah.
So basically, we were taking dual languages since freshman year, and
we're taking what?
Like dual credit.
Yeah.
Dual language. I was like, no languages. I was like,
dual credit classes since like freshman year, right? So when I went in as a freshman, you were already a junior, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I thought he was attractive. I knew that my cousin knew him. And then basically from there, she's like, hey, my cousin said, what's up, blah, blah, blah. And then he kind of knew, and I was already on his radar or whatever.
On my radar.
Yeah. But then he started giving me rides to school as friends, right? Because we were both dealing with like other people at the time, but we were just friends. And then from there, we were both like single pretty much as friends. And then he asked me out.
Yeah.
And it's been 13 years.
There's way more to it, but I mean,
what,
yeah.
the sandwich story? You
Yeah,
can tell him the sandwich story. It's fine.
Nah, yeah, it's because I had already known that she was kind of like eyeing me or whatever, and then we, in school they had like these breakfast sandwiches, and it was like, what was it? It was like just ham and cheese, but it was like melted cheese.
Good.
Man, that shit was good as fuck.
It was good.
And then I had already ate one, and I had an extra one, and I'm like, fuck, like I'm gonna have to give it to somebody. And she was friends with my cousin, and they were sitting on their little table. Mm-hmm. So I went to my cousin's table, but I knew she was there, and I was like, hey, anybody want this breakfast sandwich? And then out of nowhere, she's like, oh, maybe I'll take it.
That's not.
And I was just like, oh my God, like just take it. You know?
You say that? That's not even true. He offered it, and I'm like, oh, I'll take it. And then I grabbed the sandwich, right?
I'm like, okay.
And he gave it to me. But he says that, but there's another story about the Rice Krispie. I was going to buy me a Rice Krispie. And then he knew I was my cousin's cousin, right? Because he has a cousin. She's my age. And then I have a cousin that's his age.
Y'all all went to school together?
Yeah, pretty much. So my cousin Jasenia and him are the same grade, and the same grade as his younger cousin Giselle, right? So I remember I would tell Giselle, his cousin, like, man, your cousin's so cute, blah blah blah, and just joking around or whatever. And then he knew I was, he knew that I was cousins with my cousin. And then he came up to me, he's like, he saw me buying a Rice Krispie or whatever, and he's like, hey, and I'm like, what's up? And he's like, are you Yesenia's cousin? And I'm just like, yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, okay, like
it was like a movie scene, right?
Yeah, and literally like a high school, and I'm just like, okay.
And like she's like in the vending machine, she looks up, she sees my reflection.
Oh my God.
I turn around like, yo, you're Yesenia's cousin, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah. And then I'm like, that's cool. See you around. And then that's it,
Yeah, like.
But I'm like, I knew they were cousins.
But the thing was,
it's like that little icebreaker.
You're breaking ice.
But the thing is, like, I think we both kind of knew. I think I don't know when I was a part of like his radar or whatever, because I always thought he was attractive, but I knew he was in a relationship, so I just like from far away, right? But then when I knew that he became single, I was like, okay,
So who really shot the shot? Like the big shot, the main shot.
My cousin on my behalf.
But then that's where it like started everything. But what happened?
Who took that first initiative to really lock in?
Me with the cousin question.
Yeah, it was you. I think it was. Yeah. I think it was him, because I always knew.
Because I get what I want, If I want it, I get it.
I put myself on his radar. Let's just put it like that. No, I just feel like it's just one of those things where, like I said, I found him attractive, but I respected what he had going on, and my cousin knew that. So as a joke, it literally started as a joke, because she tried to get me back, and she texted him like, hey, my cousin said, what's up?
So she was trying to like embarrass you.
She was trying to embarrass me, but she was trying to embarrass me. And then because I never had his number, and then he was like, oh, I'm not over my ex.
You could have asked me.
I was not gonna ask you. He's like, I'm not over my ex, but we can be friends. And then I was just like, well, I don't want nothing more than that. We can be friends. And then we just, from there, became friends. Really good friends, actually. So we were friends from like June to October. I don't know how many months that is.
Yeah. And now we have a podcast.
Now we have a whole podcast together. Business partners.
Yeah. That's a crazy story. That's a good story.
I mean,
there's a lot more to that.
Yeah, but
I mean, you said 13 years. I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot in between then and now.
Yeah, for sure. Are you in a relationship?
Yeah, like I said off camera, we just hit 10 months yesterday on Thanksgiving. So.
Oh, you asked her out on wait,
no, on the 23rd.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Damn, did y'all go to each other's Thanksgivings or not?
Yeah, that was our first Thanksgiving together. I started the day. I went and played football with the homies. Then she joined me, and we went to my family. White people do it early. His family's do it later, so it worked out perfect.
Oh, she's Hispanic?
Yeah, she's Mexican.
Oh, okay. Cool. What part?
Her dad is from, her mom is from Chihuahua, and her dad is from Guerrero.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not too familiar on the places themselves, but it was a cool experience, getting to identify the difference in the cultures, but being able to be together it was dope. I really enjoyed it.
I think that's cool. Like it's yeah, it's different. Like
it's way different.
Yeah, because my family, we celebrate. We used to do dinner, but now we do like lunchtime, and it's just so perfect. Like it's weird, kind of.
Well, the way for the families that it works out, you're talking about timing.
Yeah, for us, as Hispanics, like it's because we used to do it like late, you know, and we used to party. But now it's like on my side, we do party other holidays, but just for Thanksgiving specifically, we just do it early.
So y'all are able to go to both sides?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we make it work. We're like super. We try to be fair where we spend enough time with both sides, you know, just because now we have our son, so we want him to spend quality time with both families, you know. And we both have big families too, so it's pretty hectic, right? For like the holidays and stuff.
That is true. Does she have a big family? Like when you went, or was it?
Yes and no. Most of her family is like split up in Cali and Mexico. So most of her sisters and, you know, their kids and, you know, the guys that they're with, as well as, you know, some people from Dallas came down, but it wasn't like, I feel like my get together was a little bit bigger, but like we've both met all of the family that's here that's possible to meet, so it wasn't like introduction to anybody. It was just kind of but it's I'm trying to learn Spanish because like I'm just sitting there and like I know
how
like,
is that like I guess how is it for you not knowing Spanish and when other people talk Spanish like
well I mean I've learned a lot since we first started dating.
Okay,
so
what
like,
do you know in Spanish?
It's more like when I hear conversations I can pick up words and I can put it together to an extent, you know, so like I understand when they're talking about certain things, and I can definitely know when they're talking about me. So but sometimes you know like the music's loud, you know, everybody's drinking, you know, it's everybody's having a good time, so it's like it seems like when I first moved in I was like, man, why is everybody yelling? You know, like it seems like everybody's arguing.
Wait, y'all live together?
No, I meant like when I first went over.
Oh, okay,
but I was like, man, why is everybody yelling? You know, I feel like everybody was mad at each other.
Yeah.
So I was, you know, I figured it out. That's not how it is.
They just talk loud.
Yeah. But so now I've been able to pick up on the tones, you know, and the vibes that's going on. But when I first started going over, I thought everybody hated each other and.
He's like nothing but drama.
Is crazy, right?
That
like,
is,
if you're like just like listening to tones and stuff like that.
That's really what I have to listen to right now, because other than that, I can't put together full sentences. You know, like it kind of sucks because like when I see two people talking and they're laughing, like I want to, you know, join in. You know, like her mom don't speak English at all, and it's like I've always envisioned myself in a relationship where I have a great relationship with her parents and vice versa. So I feel like it is my job to learn. Like I don't have a choice because I want to have a relationship with them.
It's very thoughtful of you. It's very thoughtful.
It's hard. It's really hard though because it just don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And then Spanish is hard because one word in English can be multiple words in Spanish, right? Like.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing in English too, though.
No, English is so basic.
But it's like there, your, and your.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
But, yeah. What would y'all say is like the best way to learn? Because I've had people say listening to the music, which I do. I listen to the music all the time in the car, but it's like, I don't know. I
think for music,
like I listen to a lot more music than I did, and that's Spanish.
Yeah, like.
What do you listen to though?
Like I started with just Selena, if I'm being honest, but now like I listen to a lot of like romantic Spanish music. I don't know, I like the vibe. I came across this one the other day, but like Spotify has a smart shuffle, so if you pick one song, it plays a whole bunch of songs that
are kind of similar.
So I don't really ever know what I'm listening to. I just kind of
I wonder if he's listening to like the oldies.
I have a couple.
Those are good, right?
Dale, Joan Sebastian.
Joan Sebastian.
I said that.
You said it wrong.
Joan Sebastian?
It's Joan Sebastian.
I said Sebastian.
Sebastian. It's not how you say it.
Sebastian?
Sebastian. Joan Sebastian.
Not Joan Sebastian?
No.
Okay, that's weird.
No, you're weird.
She's just placing the X in a different spot.
Yeah, it goes in a different spot.
Okay.
But with that being said, we're going to take a quick break. And
we can keep going.
Okay.
I had added more time.
Oh, okay. Oh, you did. Yeah. I was gonna say the best way would be with her. She could teach you.
That's what
because I feel like it'll be like she could explain to you while having a conversation. Because if you literally sit down and try, unless you're taking a whole Spanish class, then it's different, right? But I think the best way would be like with her, like
Well, yeah, no, what I was gonna say, like low key, like my son is like, he's gearing more towards like English, you know, than Spanish. So we're asking ourselves the same question now, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, how do we get him to talk more Spanish or whatever? But which he does, you know. But it's like, I think the best way is just replacing words when you're having a conversation. So it's like, if like, let's say like you guys are about to go eat or something, instead of saying like I'm hungry, just say like
tengo hambre.
Tengo hambre. Like, you want to go grab something to eat, and just switch it to English. Like,
But
just
it'll
throw
be
that.
more.
Yeah.
It'll be more on her end, right?
Yeah.
Like to kind of like guide you because she knows the both languages.
I think I learned because Andy, that's my business partner. He's from East LA, but his family's Mexican.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, like I said, we've been remodeling our studio for a long time. We were in the same room together. So I feel like I've learned more Spanish from him because I pick up on his conversations with his client more than my girl. I mean, she does help me a lot, but not like I'm gonna tell her let's start, you know, switching words every once in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, in between Andy, my girl, and the music, that's really the only. But I've been really thinking about picking up like something online. Just
And
because
you
I
know-
want to
Like
learn
Duolingo.
quicker.
Or you
yeah,
know,
I wanna learn
or you know
faster.
another way too is putting like movies in Spanish but English subtitles.
Yeah.
That
Just
would-
hearing it more, you know, being
Yeah.
able to understand it.
At least you're trying though, because there's people that really don't even care to try
Yeah.
for their significant other, really, you know, because at the end of the day, you're wanting to have a better relationship with your in-laws, you know, so that's a big reason to try, right? I used to talk English to his mom, and she don't even speak English.
Yeah, I'd be like, why are you talking to her in English?
But I didn't know she spoke only Spanish,
Which,
you know?
I mean, she speaks English, but it's like,
Yeah, she does.
If if like I know somebody speaks a lot of Spanish, but they understand English, I'm just gonna try to speak to them in Spanish. But she'll just blatantly just go like English all the way.
No,
you know?
but I'm very like Spanglish. I mix it a lot, like a lot.
Is it like purposeful or does it like?
No, I
No, I
just
think she
like,
knows,
well,
yeah.
you know, because when I was growing up, I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandpa was really big. My first language was Spanish, but then in elementary, I remember like him really pushing for us to learn English, like, you know. So I think English became my priority language. Like, I needed to learn English, I needed to speak in English, you know. And over time, I feel like my mom knows English, but I feel like over time, like I knew she understood me, so I didn't even try to keep up with the Spanish, you know. So now that I have my son, I'm just like, oh, I want him to know Spanish, and you know what? He thinks the word Spanish means English
yeah, like he'll like.
because we're saying it in English, you know. But he'll understand. Like if I'm telling him to speak Spanish, he's gonna speak English. I have to tell him, habla en español. I have to tell him in Spanish.
So
you know?
what was his first language? Because most of his family, does most of y'all's family speak both?
Yeah, it's both, but I mean, it's because I would say his first. Yeah, it's like it's a mix. You know, it's a mix.
It's a mix, yeah. He's considered ESL in school, you know, because of because he has the little bit of Spanish or whatever, which is crazy to me because I don't even think that he knows enough Spanish to be considered ESL, but they tested him over there and they said, okay, no, he's considered, right?
Yeah, like I was gonna use myself as an example for you, but you're older, cause like when I was little,
He's younger.
yeah, you're younger, so it's like
Way
no,
younger.
I meant no, I meant you're older, like, cause I was gonna use my younger self as an example. That
okay.
When I was young, like my parents taught me nothing but Spanish, right? And the way I learned English was like watching like Power Rangers and I forgot what else was on back then, like, you know. But we used to like, before I went to school, I would watch Power Rangers, and that's how I kind of like learned English. And once I got into school, I had already learned a little bit of English through watching TV. But I'm saying like he's older in a way where kids are like sponges, where they just pick up on,
kids
you know,
absorb stuff a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And that's why I wish like in middle school I really tried, and you know, the Spanish
But then it
class,
just is
but
harder because, you know, when you're like in middle school, they really, there is Spanish class, but you're not even with the mentality like, oh, I want to learn this. You know what I mean?
I was forced to, but even
Yeah.
then, it's like to the book Spanish. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
like slang.
Yeah. Yeah, there's levels.
Yeah, there is.
Crazy.
It's like different. Like when I go to Mexico, like because my family's Salvadorian. So that was a big reason why my grandpa didn't really want us, like, you know, he didn't want us to have that accent, you know. So then, not that I ever had it really, but growing up and like my tias and stuff like that, talking or whatever, I think he really wanted us to like be like considered like well educated because we knew English, you know, like the proper English. But in Spanish, there's like different.
Yeah,
Even in Mexico, like Mexico is so big that different parts have the way they say things differently.
Yeah, that's what I've learned from just like clients and like people that I know, even from like just different places. Like we have a apprentice at our shop. Like he's in high school, but he's a client of Andy's, but he comes every Saturday just to watch us cut. But his family is from El Salvador too, so like the difference in their Spanish is, you know, like in Spain too. I didn't realize it was all different, but now that I'm picking up on that, like I would show them a song, like, yo, do you like this song? And they're like, bro, I have no idea what they're saying. And I'm like, come on, it's Spanish. Like, don't you know Spanish? You know? But,
yeah, there are certain like different like little words and stuff.
That was just being ignorant to it because, you know, I wasn't, you know, I didn't understand. Like, what do you mean there's different Spanishes?
Yeah.
But,
no, like I honestly, I would consider myself like a very like, I can speak Spanish really well, you know? Like I literally think to myself like, oh, I'm good at Spanish, you know? But we just came back from Mexico and like I would talk to my cousins or my uncles and stuff, and man, I just catch myself like stuttering a lot, bro. I'm just like, fuck, like I don't even know how to say this. And
I know, like right now I'm thinking like I was just telling him earlier today, I'm like, man, I really want to talk more Spanish. Like we're like slacking. Well, actually, let's go on a quick break. The camera turned off.
Oh shit. All right, let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
And we are back. But so what were y'all talking about?
Oh yeah, so off camera we're talking because I noticed that he talks about like blessings and God and stuff, you know. So I was asking him like, you know, about that. But you said like you follow Christ, right? So,
yeah, we were talking about like I try not to, like if somebody says, are you religious? Like I am, but I try to avoid just saying a hard term like that, just because like I said, there's just a lot of false ideas and perceptions out there, especially with the influence of social media. I feel like if I say I'm religious, people create an image in their head of me from the jump that I have no ability to defend, and therefore I lose the ability to not necessarily like share my beliefs, but more so just have a good inspiration towards them, or like some sort of motivation, which is like I feel like is my biggest purpose in my life. That's what I want to do. So it's like I gotta somehow find a way to be me and share what I believe while still keeping it cordial with people who don't believe the same thing. Yeah. So I feel like if I'm like, yep, I'm religious, I'm Christian, you know, it burns bridges. So if people ask, I just say, yeah, I follow Christ. That's who I, you know, try to give my life to. But even then, and I feel like when people hear that, if they don't know what I'm talking about, like if you just said I'm religious, they'd be like, oh, cool. But if you say I follow Christ, they're like, what do you mean? So it gives me an opportunity to explain, or kind of. And I feel like, you know what I mean, like I said, social media is bad when it comes to influence on people. And I feel like I rather share what I believe to you from my own mouth rather than you hear what I say and automatically tie it to something you've heard and just cancel me out from the jump, you know? Yeah. Like if you just say, oh, I don't like you because of what I said, then it is what it is, you know? Yeah. Because I feel like I was being genuine and authentic from the jump.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I saw your tattoo.
Yeah, I have a lot of tattoos.
Well, your cross.
The cross, yeah. It's walk by faith, not sight. It's just a piece of scripture.
That's cool. I like that.
I wanted to. It's kind of like football player Odell Beckham. He has a tattoo on his hand where it's like a word that's horizontal and vertical, and they intersect. But I was like, man, that would be dope to have like as a cross. So it was like, it took me a while to figure something, and I don't even think they intersect at a letter. I can't remember because like I can't see it. I think it's just a space. Yeah. Like walk by space faith, not space sight. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there is a space. Okay, it's like walk and then space and then by faith, and then it's like not sight.
Yeah, so they're not sharing a letter.
Yeah, it's just they're sharing the space.
Yeah, they're sharing the space.
a lot of people see my tattoos and they're like, wait, so like you're religious and you have tattoos? Like, what is that about? And
What's your hand one?
My hand, it's a lion.
Oh, okay.
It's got a cross over the left
I
eye,
see.
but the cross is supposed to be like a scar.
Yeah.
Everything on my left arm, I intended it to tie into my faith somewhat. So like, if people ask how does it tie in, I could just say something about like the lion of Judah or whatever. But to me, when I first got it, a lion is a symbol for strength. I mean, everybody says lions are the king of the jungle or whatever. Yeah. And I felt like God gave me the strength of being able to work with my hands in terms of like barbering. I picked it up super quick. Not because I was naturally good at it, just as I felt like I wasn't naturally good at anything. Like, I wasn't a natural athlete. I wasn't the fastest guy, the strongest, anything like that. Yeah. I feel like my strength was my hands and my ability to pick up skills. So that's why I put the lion on my hand.
That's pretty a great way to explain that tattoo, actually.
But I made the excuse to tell my dad why. He was like, well, you shouldn't get that. And I was like, well, hear me out. I was like, if I'm making videos on Instagram and they see my hands, they're going to remember me as the guy with the lion. Mm-hmm. But now that it's...
Are they, like, super religious?
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, they have the same beliefs, but they're not, like... if you thought of a traditional religious parent, that's not what my parents are like, but...
So they were okay with you getting tattoos?
Yes and no.
Oh,
like,
okay.
to an extent. Once they started getting, like, on my hand and my arms and, like, especially my neck.
Yeah.
My mom was more accepting because, like, since the jump, as a little kid, it was always, I love tattoos. Because I watched WWE and basketball. So it's like, you see all these guys with tattoos, and I just thought it was cool. Like Rey Mysterio, Undertaker, and all that. You know, I looked up to those guys. I thought they were the coolest thing ever. So my pops wasn't as happy about, you know, the neck tattoos. But, you know, I don't have no problems with them now.
No, yeah.
I want a face tattoo, but...
Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding.
I see myself doing it like a sideburn, not like a...
Yeah, nothing like too crazy.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. I think it has to be creative. You know what I mean?
I got to do something bigger in life before I do that. Because they believe in me, but I don't want to... Out of respect, you know? It's like, I want to do it, and I feel like I will do it, but out of respect for them, I feel like there's a right time.
Yeah.
And it's not right now.
Do you live with them?
I do, yeah. I don't want to get an apartment because like, I feel like it's just a waste of money.
100% agree.
And it's like, it's 2 minutes from my studio, so it's like, I'm never home.
And you're still young. You just give me like older vibes. Like if you're older.
A lot of people tell me I have like an old soul.
Yeah. I just feel like it's because your maturity level is like up there, you know. So I wouldn't think you're like a 21-year-old. Especially because we know we offered you like a beer and you're like, nah, I'm okay, you know, and I'm just like, wait, what? Like, you know?
Yeah, I like that the young people that we've had on here, like, have that same mentality as you. You know what I mean? Where they give off like this like more mature side.
And honestly, I think that's one of the reasons why we've asked the young ones that we've had on here to be like a guest on This and Much More, because I feel like we can kind of tell, right? But it's just, we just never know.
You know why I wanted to have you on? Like, because like we said off camera, like we were like being more
picky,
choosy and stuff, you know. But I think I saw a post, because we follow you and everything, you know. But I mean, I saw a post and I was like, man, you know what? Like, we haven't had like a mental health, you know, even though we haven't touched on it. You know what I mean?
Touch on it then,
but we can, you know, because that was one of the things I'm like, we should, you know, talk about that.
So. Well, that's what my podcast, when I told y'all about the podcast in high school, that's what it was about. Because my junior year of high school, one of my best friends committed suicide. And, you know, like at that age, you're so like naive to that. You're innocent. You don't understand real life problems. You know, at that point, you haven't really faced mental, you know, obstacles. So,
well, that's all you know.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. So being so young and seeing that, there was like a couple different aspects to it. So like I had found out that I was the last person that talked to him. So early on, like I had a lot of blame. Like I blamed myself for a long time. And that's why tattoos mean a lot, because that was what we were talking about. We were talking about tattoos, and I used to blame myself like, man, like you could have said anything else. You could have asked about his day, you know, and I chose to talk about tattoos, which killed me for a minute. And that's where like that started to spiral through high school, and that was where my mental struggles began. And I just learned very, very early on the importance of, you know, being vulnerable and embracing those emotions, because it's like he was somebody I looked up to. He was older than me, and I felt like everything he did was right. You know, I wanted to be like him. I dressed like him. I started, you know, listening to music. I did everything to be like him. Mm-hmm. And it's like to see, you know, the events that, you know, unfolded, it just, you know, opened my eyes, you know, and so I started a podcast later on in my senior year. We called it the Social Misfits Podcast because, like, the topics we talked about were regarding mental health, but I felt like a misfit because it's not something that men do, technically, for, you know.
No, yeah.
So it's like we talked about mental health and we just bodied that topic and just didn't care what anybody thought, and we embraced it, and we stopped after like 10 episodes because it was just a high school thing, and we went our own ways. But I really, that's what I want my foundation to be, other than like what I believe with my faith. It's because it's like at one point I just felt like I needed somebody that I looked up to be saying what I'm saying now, you know. So it's like my goal is to be like, I've said this before, I want to be who I needed or who I feel like I needed, and I truly feel like I'm becoming that person.
Yeah.
And I just want to be, you know, that person that somebody else can just look up to and see that their lifestyle is healthy, you know, it's positive, not embracing like, you know, drugs, alcohol, which I don't judge nobody that does that. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just like, I just want people to see me and think, you know, and just have a good influence.
Yeah. You're wanting to be the person that, not that you wish you had, but somebody that you would have looked up to when you were younger.
The person I thought my friend was, you know, and not to say anything bad on him, but it's like, I saw the importance of having, you should have role models. You know, you should. It's good to have people that you look up to, but it's dangerous when you see another human and think they're perfect. Because now you're going to create a false reality in your head and expectations on them that they have no idea that you have. And when that's the case, like, they're going to fail every time because they have no idea that you even have these expectations. So I think it's important to not only just, you know, influence a healthy lifestyle, but also embrace, like, the human reality of it, of the struggle and, you know, the emotions that go into, you know, the everyday life. And that's why I try to share mental health as much as I can, but, you know, it's hard, you know, because it's like, at what point are you seeking attention? At what point do you share too much of your life, you know? So anytime, that's why I said off camera, like, I'm an open book, because like, I want to be an open book, because if there's a question somebody has, I want them at all times to feel like they could ask me, whether I have the answer or not. You know, it's important to ask some type of question.
Yeah, or just to even have a conversation. You know,
that's all that matters. That's the start, is the conversation. You know, and that's why it's important for me not to burn a bridge in terms of a relationship with somebody. Is because, like, we can have different morals, we can have different lifestyles, culture, but it's like, at the end of the day, like, we probably still have the same struggles, and it's like, we might not see eye to eye in one aspect of life, but maybe there's something you've been through that I need, or maybe vice versa, you know, and you might be struggling with something that I've dealt with or am dealing with, so I can give you pointers on what got me through it, or maybe I know somebody that's going through what you're going through. I learned that because of the conversation that me and that person had, and therefore I can now assist you in my best way. So that's just, I don't know, but it's tough. It's really tough.
It is tough because there's certain people that sometimes, like, there's stuff that, or whatever they're going through, they don't want it to be known or whatever. So it's kind of like when you're the one looking at that person, is like, either you got to read them or you got to see, like, little context clues about, like, what they might be going through. And you don't want to just blatantly just ask, like, hey, like, why you look down or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you can, you know, and they'll give you, like, this, just like the basic, like, I'm all right, bro, or whatever. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I know there's a lot of people out there, and especially on social media, that, like, talk about mental health and stuff, and or be like, oh, I don't know if you know, like, there's, okay, like, let's just say somebody, you know, committed suicide or whatever, and people will automatically just in the comments be like, yo, he was asking for help and nobody listened, but I'm like, how would you even know? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, like, I've known personally 2 people that committed suicide, and it's like, you don't know, you know what I mean? Like, they have a smile on their face just like everybody else. Like, how many times has somebody asked, how's your day going? And it was a bad day, and you actually said, oh, this is everything that's going bad. Rarely ever, you know, you just be like, oh, it's good, I'm getting through it. Because it's like, I feel like most people ask that question without the intention of truly getting the answer.
That is
It's
Yeah.
just like out of common courtesy. Oh, how you doing?
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not that you don't care, but you're not really in a situation to sit down and really hear me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I try not to ask that question unless I'm really like, let's lock in and have this conversation. But it's more of like people just don't have an idea of how little things like that, you know, impact people, you know, and it's like, the happiest people could be going through the toughest times, you know, and it's like, we look at, like you said, oh, why didn't nobody help him? He was asking for help. It's because, like, that when you're in that mindset of, you know, and you're in that depression, like, you do want help, but you don't at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, if somebody doesn't ask for help, you can't help them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. And then some people get, you know, offended by that because it's like, no, it's your, but it's like, you can't save nobody. You know, and that's what I had to learn.
Yeah, that person has to take that first step.
Yeah.
And that first step is like wanting the help,
Yeah.
you know. And it doesn't even have to be a thing where it's like, hey, can you help me? You know. But if you ask, how's your day going? You take that initiative, like, it's actually going bad. And just the fact that you're stating that it's going bad is, you already are kind of like, okay, you're open to being helped by what is it, by like actually telling somebody how you're really feeling, you know?
Yeah, you know, like one time we were watching TV. It was late, remember? With that one guy on social media. We were watching, I don't know what time it was. It was like maybe 2 a.m. It was this dude that I follow, and then like he was
crazy.
just posting a bunch of like depression type posts or whatever, just like
suicidal
like-
thoughts.
And people were
Like-
just saying he wants attention, huh?
Nah, like, so what happened is, like, it was late, but it wasn't like posts, it was like stories. So it's like, it was like I was watching them like real time, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, man, nobody
Like 1
loves me.
minute,
It's like, I
2
can't stop crying type shit. Like, I'm just like, fuck. And I'm watching them and I'm like, fuck, I feel like nobody's on social media. I'm watching this shit, and
It's so late.
and I was like, damn, I don't know if I should say something, because I never really talked to him like that. And I'm like, but that's hella responsibility on my end. And I'm like,
It's a lot of weight.
yeah. And I'm like, do I wanna, like, what if he's like, bro, can you pick me up? And I'm like, am I really gonna go that far, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, but I didn't want to act like I never saw it, you know what I'm saying? So what I did is I ended up DMing him, and I was just like, hey bro, like, if you know, if you need to talk or if whatever, you know, just know that I'm seeing what you're posting or whatever, you know. And then I think he read it, and then that's it, you know. But I feel like I feel like after I did that, I was like, all right, I did my part, you know, because I didn't want to have, like, if something did happen, then I'm like, fuck, like,
It's on your conscience.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I
It's just
could
one
have
of
said
those-
something,
it's one of those
especially me
things-
telling her, like, should I do it? Like, I'm already having like thoughts of not doing it, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I'm a big like.
it's crazy. It is a big
Yeah.
pressure, you know.
I think I'm a big like a lending hand type of person, right? Like,
Yeah.
like just it's crazy, right? Because
Yeah.
I feel like people like do hit me up, you know, just to talk, you know.
Yeah.
But my thing, the way I picture that is like how you're saying you can't be helped if you don't want,
Unfortunately.
you know, right?
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where it's like you're like, if you picture it right, it's like I'm putting my hand out to help you, but the only way I can help you is if you give me yours, right? Like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's tough, right, to
Yeah.
like deal with something like that.
Yeah, and especially because and I feel like the reason that I was already like second guessing, like, if I should say anything or whatever, is because I already have that mentality where I'm just like, I'm only caring for my family, and so whatever else anybody's going through, like, I don't give a fuck, you know. But that's just like how I work, you know. And I'm just, so I was like, do I even want to deal with this shit? You know, that's how I was thinking.
At the end of the day, it's not your responsibility.
Exactly, but I do have a conscience and I do have a heart, and I'm just like, I'm not
You're
like that
human.
ruthless, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, what? Can I ask what ended up happening, or?
He
oh,
started
so the
posting
next day, the next day or maybe 2 days after, he was just posting like normal, like he was just.
Did he delete those stories, or?
Yeah, he deleted them. So
I mean, I wonder if he was like,
maybe he was just going through it that
Yeah.
night or something, and he was just, you know.
Yeah.
But I
I'm
don't
a
know.
big like, not that I'm like, I'm like a like I'm a sucker for like stuff like that sometimes, you know, because when he told me, I was just like, no, send him a message like right away, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also a person that is like, I don't know, I don't want to come off wrong, you know, but I do think a lot like I don't know, like let's just say somebody random is like posting over like a boyfriend and girlfriend problem, you know what I mean? When somebody out there is really dealing with like a bigger problem, you know what I mean? And you're already ready to give up, but then that's what that's what the mental health is, right?
Because it's like the what is it, the I don't even know the word, the gravity of the situation, something like that, right? Like, it might be a lot for that person.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, like that whole, let's say to us it's like, boyfriend, girlfriend shit. But then to them, it might be like...
make it or break it.
I mean, it's like if you're... I've said this a lot of times. Like, if you're drowning in 10 feet of water and you're drowning in 100 feet, you're both drowning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, the weight of the situation doesn't change. You know, everybody deals with things differently, and that's why it's hard. It's like you look at somebody else's problems and you may not perceive it as a problem. Therefore, you can't like feel sorry for them, or you're not empathetic in that situation. But and it's not your job.
Yeah,
you know?
I was gonna say, how do you handle that? Because I feel like I grew up with the mentality of like not even because my parents or grandparents like, you know, taught me. It was just me myself. Like, if something would happen to me, I remember I would think like, it's not that bad, right? Like, I used to be like, it's not that bad. Somebody has it worse.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up thinking like that. So I feel like as an adult now, I'm just like, I still have that mentality, kind of, you know. But you're right though. Like, you can be drowning in 10 feet or versus 100 feet, but at the end of the day, you're still drowning.
Yeah, because the immediate, you know? The example I'm thinking of immediately is that it's like when you don't want to eat your food or whatever, right? Like, it's like, and your parents are already like, well, you know, kids somewhere else like don't have food at all, and I'm just like, all right, well, but I'm here, you know. It's like, it's like I get it. There's extreme examples that you can throw at me or whatever, but I mean, I still have my own shit dealing with, you know, like. Yeah.
I just think, like you said, the perfect example was the drowning one.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's good that you said that, because I never really like thought about it like that. Because I always thought like, well, maybe it's not that deep, you know. But at the end of the day, it's not deep to me, but it's deep for them, like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like I've been had a lot of people like reach out via DM like for stuff like that, but I've had a few, and I remember I think the deepest like situation was this guy DM me. He just, I don't know, it was weird. The way he reached out was like as if he knew me, but he was like, hey man, like I really need somebody right now. And I seen it and I was like, you know, like I'm sure he's probably just gonna ask for like, you know, what's the best clipper to use and something like that, you know. But I don't know, someone told me to reach out. I was like, yo, what's the word, bro? Like, you know, what's going on? And he was telling me he felt like super inspired by my content, that he wanted to cut hair too, that he knows how to cut hair, but he's working like a 9 to 5. And I was like, cool, bro, that's, you know, like I didn't see the issue. And he was like, I'm making like, you know, 150,000 a year and all this. And he was like, but man, I hate it, like I'm depressed, man. And
no, that's cool. We still got this one.
Cool. And he was like, you know, man, last night I was gonna kill myself, and he was like, tonight I was about to like swallow a whole bunch of Adderall. And he's like, you know, like what would you tell me right now, you know? And it's just like it shows him that I read the message. So it's like, damn, like I have to say something. Like,
and then that's a lot of pressure, because it's just like
crazy.
And it's just like, what do you do in that situation, you know? But in that moment, I was like, screw it, like full vulnerability, you know. I just shared scripture with him, and I just shared my experiences. I mean, I damn near had like a conversation with somebody that I would have known for years, with this dude who I have no idea who he was. He was a private account. I don't even know what he looked like. But I just laid it all down, you know, and I try to be as empathetic as possible, not necessarily like reaching into exactly what he was going through, more so just emphasizing that I don't know what you're going through, but I've shared similar emotions, you know. I don't know what you're going through, but I know the weight that you may be feeling. And it's like, I don't know, he says, you know, I saved his life, and I don't know where he's at. That was a while ago, and I'm not famous, but I have a lot of DMs, so I don't know if I could find that DM even if I wanted to. So, and I always think about it every day. Like, yeah, I kind of want to reach out to him, but it's like I don't know who it was.
Yeah.
Just to see where he's at, but it's a lot of weight, and it's scary because it's like, man, I can't not respond, and now you feel like it's your job to save his life.
Yeah.
I know, and that's a lot of pressure.
It is, but for me, it's like it wasn't my job to sit there and attempt to change his mind. I wasn't gonna ask him everything he's going through. I just shared my story. That's it. He asked me for help, and the only way I felt like I could help was by sharing my story.
Yeah.
And I shared, what I went through. I shared my emotions. I shared a bit of my journey, and I just was hoping that he would, feel some attachment to it and be able to maybe make some comparisons between us, and hopefully see that there is some sort of hope. But it's like people see stuff on social media and think you got it all figured out, but it's like, dog, like
that's what sucks.
Yeah, like I'm 20 years old, bro. Like I live with my mom and my pops. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't have it figured out, bro. Like social media may make it look like that, but I promise you I don't. And it's like, but it just makes you think like I'm doing something right if somebody feels like I'm the person to reach out to in this situation.
Yeah.
So like, although it was heavy, I felt like it sounds bad to say I felt good. Like I didn't feel good that he was going through that, but
you were able to help with.
I felt like I did my job, and I feel like I put myself in the position to be reachable. And that's what I want to be. I want to be reachable. I want to be on a position to have a platform to reach people, but I don't want to be so big to where you can't reach out to me. I want to have the ability to text you back like I'm a human, because I don't want to be like a celebrity. Like if you text Kim Kardashian, she's not gonna respond. She's not gonna even see it. It's like I want to have the platform to reach a lot of people, but at the same time still be able to, interact and be a human.
Yeah, because regardless, people have to know who they're reaching out to and in what way.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
yeah, if it's like, let me talk to Travis Scott, like I'm going through some, like, nah, it's like, come on, bro. Like, know who you're reaching out to, know, like, how, you can tell, like, who you can reach out to. If it's somebody that you're looking up to, like, and what industry they're in, it all,
But even then, you can't respond to everybody.
Yeah. Oh, there was a Latin artist. What's her name? The one that Peso Pluma's going out with.
Nikki.
Damn, I forgot her. But yeah, Nikki. Yeah, she was crying in an interview because she was like, she said that she saw like an article of this guy that, or a girl that killed herself or whatever, and then it just intrigued her or whatever, so she went and found them on Instagram, and she noticed that they had DM'd her, and they were like telling her like just a bunch of stuff, like, oh, like you're inspiring and whatever, like stuff like that. And then she started crying and saying like, man, it's like I just have so many DMs, like I would have never known, I never saw that DM. And she's like, so she thinks like I could have said something, whatever, but
it's like it's
like,
not your fault, but she feels like guilt.
But like, just to share, just in case somebody like listens ever is in that situation, like I felt like that with my friend, because like his mom said I was the last one to talk to him, and I was talking to him about tattoos, and it's like I always told myself, what if I just asked how his day was just once, just maybe made him second guess it that night at least, just extend it. But it's like you can't, it's not your job to save anybody, and unfortunately everything happens for a reason, and I definitely wouldn't be who I am if that didn't happen.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have the maturity or the mindset that I do if that didn't happen. And I don't know if it's guilty, but people ask like, if like could I go back and change it? Like, I don't know, is that bad to say I wouldn't change it? Not that I got
no,
as far as your for your growth and your
but that sounds so selfish.
Yeah, it does. It does.
But
like, that's so realistic though. Like, because honestly, like for me, I've thought about whenever you've asked like, oh, because my grandparents passed away, and I'm like, well, if I were to ever like bring them back, as much as I want to say like I would bring them back, I think I've said it right, where it's just like, but I just know that because of like everything that happened, like I feel like I became the person that I am now. Because I've told him, I'm like, if my grandparents were still alive, I think I would have been like spoiled and a party girl and just not the person I am at all. You know what I mean? Like it's just I really do think like it's unfortunate how certain things happen, but again, everything happens for a reason.
It does, yeah. And I mean, even then, like, I was going through so many emotions. Like, I was mad, I was questioning things, you know, I was hurt, you know, everything in between. I blamed myself, and I skipped his funeral. And that's how, like, in the moment, I was more mad at him than anything.
Yeah.
So on top of that guilt I was already feeling, as soon as the funeral was over, I realized I just made the biggest mistake. And I feel like that's the only thing I would ever change in my life. Is I just wish I attended that funeral, because I feel like I never received closure.
It's just like mentally you weren't there, you know, maybe.
I wasn't, but I feel like it's my job to share that now.
No, yeah.
Because it's like, I feel like I lost out on the ability to have closure from that situation. Mm-hmm. And I feel like to this day, I still don't believe it. And it was
like a few years ago.
Time ago. Yeah. That was 5 years ago.
Oh wow.
So it's like to this day I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
But
well, with that being said, let's go on a quick break and we'll be back.
Yes, sir.
And we are back.
Yeah, so off camera we're talking about a certain situation
and empathy and sympathy.
And yeah, the difference between empathy and sympathy. Well, let's pick up on that, right?
Okay.
So it's like,
let's make sure we're not wrong.
Yeah.
From Google, sympathy is acknowledging somebody else's pain, but empathy is choosing to feel the pain with them.
I always thought it was the other way around.
I honestly didn't know there was a difference.
Oh, I knew there was a difference. I just didn't know exactly what it was, you know?
Yeah. And then, so I said that I'm not empathetic.
Because you don't feel what they're feeling?
Yeah, like, I guess I won't put myself, like, I guess how I see it is like, if somebody's like, hey, man, I'm depressed, whatever, and then I'm like, you know what, man, like, you know, like, I feel you, like, you know? But I think I'll hear people out, and in a way, like, keep a straight face. Like, I'll just be like, all right, like, it's like, they can be crying and stuff, and then I'll just be like, all right, well, you know, like, if you, whatever, I'll just go into it like that, you know what I'm saying?
I think I don't know, I guess I'm kind of the same, because I feel like when I've had people come to me and tell me their problems, I'm just trying to find a solution. You know, I'm not trying to dwell in the emotion of not being okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can throw it away. Oh,
yeah, like, I guess I'm not trying. However, when they are telling me, I do say like, oh, well, you know, when this happened to me and I was feeling like this, right? So I don't know if that's considered like...
I think it's like you're trying to tie yourself to it. But I feel like first thing, like, in that situation, you gotta acknowledge, like, what do you need from me? Like, do you need me to be some ears? Do you need an opinion from me? Like, you know, because, like, the last thing somebody hurting that's just looking for some ears needs is for somebody to try to say how they should fix it. You know, like, that makes everything worse. Yeah. Like, you need to figure out, you need to talk to them, like, what do you need from me? You know, like, if you just need me to listen, then I'm going to shut up and listen to you. And that's it. I'm not going to give you an opinion until you ask me for one. I feel like that's number one. Because it's like, if somebody is just, like, for somebody to reach out to you in the first place, that's already a big step. But then if you're like, bro, or, you know, whoever you're talking to, you shouldn't be feeling that way. Life is beautiful, this, and this. In your mind, you're just giving them a way out. You're trying to make them feel better, but you're tearing them down. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to figure out what is your role from the jump.
They can easily compare themselves to you. Like, if they're like, oh, man, life is great, bro, whatever. And he's like, yeah, for you. But, like, exactly. You know, like, yeah.
Well, that's a good way to look at it, right?
Because, man, we're big, like, suck it up and just, like, you know?
And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, because, like, I'm that way to myself. Like,
I guess that's what, we're like that with ourselves.
But it's like, like, you gotta look at it from a different perspective too. Like, from a relationship standpoint, you can't love her the way you expect to be loved. You gotta love her the way she perceives love, vice versa. You know, you can't expect. You have to focus on what somebody needs. You know what I mean? And you have to hit it that way. You know, and it's like, when it comes to a relationship, you know, no matter what you feel like she needs or what she wants, only she knows what she needs, and she can only tell you that. You can't. He can't figure that out.
Yeah. And that's why communication is big in a relationship.
Big thing. Same goes when you're having those conversations. It's like, it's a solution to you. But it's like, I'm sure that already crossed their mind, but obviously, they're not applying it. Maybe it wasn't a thought, but regardless, you got to figure out what they need from you before you can truly helping them. Maybe listening rather than giving an opinion.
Yeah.
Giving an opinion when it's not one, it is dangerous.
That's for sure.
It only creates anger and more distance between you and said person.
Yeah,
Dang.
that is true.
No,
it's true.
that. Like, we give more of our opinion to those who like have asked, and we give like a blunt opinion.
Okay, so like on their podcast, on her and Alondra's podcast on Entre Nos, like they get like the submission, right?
Yeah.
Like, so people submit like their stories or questions or whatever, but they constantly like laugh, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but we're not laughing.
But yeah, they're not laughing at them. But they'll just like read it, and then they'll just talk amongst each other, and they'll make jokes and shit. You know what I'm saying? It could be serious, bro, and they'll make jokes. But the thing that I told both of them off camera is that like people know who they're. It's kind of the same thing. So it's like people know who they're submitting these stories and things to. Like, this isn't like a mental health, like,
right.
You know.
Now I feel so bad that you say it like that.
No, but it's like, it's not a mental health like primary type of podcast. It's more of a fun podcast. So it's like, if you're submitting something, know that they're gonna make some sort of joke or whatever.
Well,
you know?
like, okay, for example, somebody sent us a story.
Which is not like they just get like oh, I need help. Or,
no, it's
you need help.
Yeah, like
no. It's more like we do give like our opinion and our advice. Don't get me wrong. But we'll crack jokes because we'll connect ourselves to that story, you know.
And then y'all just say like personal things.
Yeah, and then we'll laugh at it, right? But then, I mean, I guess because they still send their stories, you know.
But the reason why it was even a topic was because somebody was like, y'all should take these stories a little more serious. And then that's when I'm like, for what? Like, that's not that type of podcast.
Yeah, and that's why her response was, a client of hers told her that, right? Like, y'all should take these stories more serious. And her response was like, it's not that deep, you know. Like, the people that are sending these stories already went through what they already went through. They're just sending it for like us to read it and share our opinion.
That's coming
you know?
from somebody who didn't submit a response. You know what I mean? Like,
So
like,
then,
you didn't even put an input. So it's like, why are you?
Yeah, like
giving
we
an
had a
opinion on them?
story of a girl that said she was like sleeping with her cousin, like crazy shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's just like
that's crazy.
You shared that willingly? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
but it's anonymous though.
It's anonymous,
Oh, okay.
so we
Yeah,
can't
it's anonymous.
see.
But
I mean,
still, though.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean,
well,
But maybe it's their way of like, all right, it's out there.
It's
you
out
know,
of- it's
and-
that's like going on a talk show or like you call on the radio. And it's like, what do you expect? You know what I mean?
No, well, but hers was like it wasn't like a ha 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 story. It was more like, this is what's went on when I was a kid, when I was young. Me and my cousin used to mess around, and then I actually fell in love with him, and you know, all this stuff, right? Yeah. You see, like,
that's crazy.
Okay, your face expression.
I mean, but
it was like that was like face expressions that we make, you know, and that's why it becomes
and then
funny.
it leads into like more laughing.
But
more
like
whatever.
on the contrary to what your host's client said, like, it's a way out for these people to get. So maybe they just want to get it out there.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know what I mean? It's like this isn't a mental health podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No,
But going back to the empathy and sympathy, like we off camera we were talking about as I don't want to say like as somebody who's a little bit older, you've been through what
I'm an
maybe
old
somebody
man, bro. You can say it.
You are. Don't count me in. That's circle.
And that.
like you've
Yeah.
almost been through what they've been through. Like if
Yeah.
like you have somebody younger going through a breakup, they're like, this is the end of the world for me. Like I'm sure you've been there somehow, some way. You know, it's like you understand their situation, but it's like it comes to a point where it's like you can't just blow it out the window just because you went through it. You know what I mean? Like you have to understand that they don't have the experience that you have. And I feel like a lot of parents just like suck it up. You know, you have this, you have that, but it's like it's okay to embrace that you're hurting. You know what I mean? And I feel like we're teaching the young kids not to.
My thing is like, okay, with kids, for example, it's okay, we get it, right, that you are going through something, but are you really like it's one of those things like the story we told you off camera, right? It was more like are you really feeling like that, or are you just saying? Because you're not really like, not that you're not giving like a specific person, like the person that's trying to help you, you're not, the reason that you're saying is insecurities and but in reality, that's not what you're showing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking about it. Obviously, we're talking about like kids, right?
Yeah, kids.
And but I'm thinking right now that you said that, I'm like, all right. I feel like what you're thinking of saying is kind of like, are you really feeling like that, or are you just, you know, because the reasons aren't matching up? Let's just say, right?
Yeah.
Porque, well, because like for a
Porque
like,
means
I knew.
Yeah, okay. They slip out sometimes. But yeah, but like it's like, so for an adult, we know what reasons to expect. And for kids, they might not have a deep reason to do what they're doing, except for, oh, it's because my insecurities or whatever. But it's like, nah, like if it was really depression or something, like it's because you would, these are the reasons, these are the list of reasons that I expect you to say. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
as
true.
adults.
Yeah.
But the reason I did want to bring that up though was because if they're watching or whatever, is because when I was young, bro, I remember me telling my parents that I was depressed because, bro, honestly, it's little kid shit, like for me, right? I was like, man, my face is uneven, my edge up is like this, and my nose is one way, my ears, like, you know. And I was thinking like a lot of physical features, insecurities and stuff like that. And you know, I remember one time I was crying to my parents, bro, like just like that I hated myself and all this shit because the way I looked and shit like that. And they were just like, what are you doing? You know, they were just like, what the hell? Like, you know. And then as I got older, they would bring it up. They'd be like, hey, remember that one time like you were like depressed or whatever, you know? And I'm just like, I was, you know, but like, but I wasn't calling it depressed like that, you know. I was just like more of like, oh man, why do I hate myself, all this shit. And I'm thinking about like if Milo was to come to us with like certain like insecurities or whatever, like I would really try to like explain to him like how to deal with it. You know what I mean?
But how do you deal with it?
Well, it's because, okay, well, I guess it would go, in like an empathetic way, whereas like I would try to like, or use my history and try to like explain.
Yeah.
Because the way I dealt with that, like just like unproportionate like things in your face or whatever, I would just look at actors and be like, man, they're famous and they have this and that or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's how I kind of like ease myself into like not feeling as bad.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like for me personally, like it's been 2 times that I felt like I was depressed. One, when my grandparents passed away, like I was questioning God a lot. I was like, well, why? Because I just felt my life was so perfect. Like it was like I had everything literally, right? Like to a kid's knowledge, right? Like, and like I used to think I was like spoiled, but like in a healthy way. Like I was not a brat, you know, but like it was a good life, right, for a kid. And then when they passed away, it was super sudden. So then I would question God a lot. I'd be like, why, like, and at that point I remember I was 13, right, like 13 and a half when they passed away. And when they did, I was depressed. I was sad. I was grieving as a kid, you know. I didn't have guidance like I didn't feel like I had anybody there, you know. And I did want to commit suicide, like and I'm like, I was 13 and a half, you know, when thinking that me killing myself it's the only option, you know. So I'm not feeling this pain, but of course it's just, as a kid, I didn't know how to even approach my mom and be like, hey, I'm feeling like this, you know what I mean? But I did tell myself at some point, like, I remember when I was like wanting to do that, right? And I was just like, well, what's going to happen after? Like, what's going to happen after I die? You know, the fear of actually doing it kind of creeped into my mind. And then that was my first time feeling like that. And after, again, I always had the mentality like, well, somebody has it worse than me. You know, at least I still have my mom, right? Because I was raised by my grandparents. So I'm like, at least I still have my mom. There's kids that don't have anybody, right? And then as an adult, I feel like I dealt with it, but after I had my son, like, not like I'm going to kill myself, more like, wow, my body, the postpartum depression, like, you know, my hormones are thrown off, like, I'm feeling like my body's changing and all this stuff, you know? But of course, nobody knew, only he did. Like, he would see me crying just like crazy, you know? And I don't know, I don't think I ever asked him to help me either. you know, so I feel like it's hard for me sometimes to understand somebody, and I just can't relate. But I guess it's one of those things, like you said, you really have to figure out what they need, either your opinion or just to hear them out, you know. Yeah. So, but it is also hard because it's like one of those things, like, how were your parents with you when you were young?
You know, I mean, like, my dad is more of like a, you know, toughen it up kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And then my mom is more of a my dad is more sympathetic. My mom is more empathetic. My senior year, like, it was like my worst time possible, like the worst that I went through. Mm-hmm.
That was like after your friend?
Yeah, my friend passed away sophomore year, but senior year, I knew of somebody who committed suicide, and it's like at the time, I had just went through a breakup, the new death, you know, and it's like I realized I never healed from the first one, so everything kind of was an open wound. Mm-hmm. Like I used the first situation, I healed that with the relationship. I broke out of the relationship, was sad, you know, and then that happened, and it's like, damn, now I have like 3 open wounds that I never even healed any of them, you know, so it's kind of like everything fell apart, and I remember my breakthrough moment was I was in 5th period forensics, and I just was like, I was out of it. Like, it was just a different type of feeling. I felt so heavy. I went to lunch, and I was so quiet to myself, and it was like, I was triggered by everything. You know, it's like one of those things where it's like, people would be like, man, why are you acting like that? Are you depressed? And it's like, what do you say to that? Like, when you're actually hurting, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, they weren't asking because they wanted to know. It was more like a mock, you know? So I would just get triggered by that type of stuff. And then I went to that next period after lunch. I went to my 6th period statistics, and I remember just sitting there, and it was just like unbearable weight. Like, I just felt like I was just like, and I remember I was just about to burst into tears. Like, I was just like on the verge of just like exploding. Like, I just wanted to I just wanted to like punch the wall, hit somebody, scream, shout. Like, I just needed to get it out, and I just ended up just jumping up real quick, and I ran out the classroom because I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't like, it wasn't like I just wanted to sit there and cry and have somebody hug me. It was just like, I don't know. It was an unexplainable emotion.
Do you feel like you just needed to breathe or something?
I don't know, because I ran into the bathroom, you know, and I locked myself in the stall, and I just remember like staring at the wall, just thinking like, what the heck is wrong with me? You know, like I'm not feeling right. And then maybe like after like 30 seconds, my best friend who's in that class walked in. Like, he just went straight to the restroom, opened the stall, locked it, you know, and he just like just hugged me, and I just like broke down, you know. And it's like, at that moment I realized I needed help, you know. And I was like the first step was acknowledging that I needed help. The second part I feel like was harder, going to my parents telling them I needed help. And it was like, how do I do that? And I remember I just kind of excluded myself from the family and was just locked in my room, and I was just like praying like my mom would come to my room by herself, you know. It was like, just come help me, please. I don't want to ask for help, just come into here. And eventually she did, and she was just asking, like, what's wrong? Like, she realized something was off. And I just remember, like, I just broke into tears, and just, like, I told her I told her that I didn't want to be here anymore, you know? But I didn't want to say I want to kill myself. I didn't say nothing like that. I just said, like, I don't want to be here anymore. And she started crying. Then my dad came in there, and he got emotional. And that's when I knew it was real, because, like, I've never seen him cry before. And thankfully, I was in a position to where I had people who are willing to listen. I feel like a lot of kids don't, you know, and it sucks, because it's like, you do, like, I don't think I could have got through that if they weren't willing to listen, you know. And it's like, they didn't sit there and tell me, you have so much to be grateful for, you should be ashamed of yourself for feeling this way, you know. It's like, they were affirming me, you know, in the sense that I was loved and all that, which is good to know, don't get me wrong. But in that situation, and people that I've known that have gone through stuff like that, like, that's not what they need to hear. I don't need to hear how you're going to hurt if I'm not here. I don't need to hear that. You know what I mean? That's not helping me. That's what you're telling yourself, that to make yourself feel better. You know, but in reality, somebody who's really deep in that, I promise you, they're not thinking about that. You know, they just have so much weight it's unbearable. And I got lucky with the people that I had in my life, you know, my friend, my family. I, you know, started therapy, and I went to therapy for a while, and I was blessed to that's when I learned the importance of just talking, because it's like, it wasn't the person that I was talking to that helped me. It was the conversation. Just she asked me the simplest questions, but it got me to speak out loud. It's like that I already knew what I was saying. It was just jumbled up in here. I didn't understand it. It was like I couldn't paint the picture because it was just blurry. Yeah. But when I spoke it out loud and actually allowed myself to hear it, I started to just answer my own questions. You know, and that's why you just gotta talking is the number one thing. It's like if I told you to solve a math problem like 473 times 642, you're gonna do it in your head? Nah. But if I gave you a pen and paper, maybe you can work it out. You know what I mean? Could you imagine trying to work that out in your head? It's too many numbers. But if you have a pen and paper, you may be able to get it. You'll get closer to the answer rather than if it's in your head. Yeah. Same with your goals, dreams, problems. You know, speaking them out, writing them down.
Yeah, it helps you understand. I write everything. Yeah.
But then, how do you know, like as a kid, right? Like, how do you know when it's just one of those things where they're just like really just like acting out? You know what I mean?
A lot of kids do that, and it's like some kids they maybe just want attention, but it's like at the end of the day, what's more important, that you blame them for wanting attention or just
giving it to them?
Because it's like would you rather just give them the attention rather than not, and they hurt themselves? Like, what's more important? Like if that's what they're going through, it's like I'd rather deal with that than deal with them not being there. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah, no, like what I was gonna say right now is that because I'm gonna ask Ronnie tomorrow too, because Ronnie's done therapy too, but I want to know like what was it that therapy offered, rather like just talking to a therapist rather than like talking to somebody, or what kind of questions did they ask that you probably felt somebody that your mom or your dad didn't ask?
I mean, it's like my mom and pops knew my whole life. They know me. They know the blessings that I have. Rather than this random lady, she doesn't know me. She has no ability to judge me.
Like just an unbiased opinion on you.
Yeah, she has no idea who I am, and she genuinely is. Yes, she's paid to listen. But at the end of the day, like I just needed somebody listening to me. My parents could ask me the same thing, and I feel like it wouldn't have hit the same. Like I felt like I was truly free to tell her I want to hurt myself, and it's like she's not gonna be like, oh my, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to tell my mom that, that's gonna break her more than it's gonna break me, you know what I mean? But I can tell that to this person, and I know she really doesn't care,
and she's not gonna judge you.
She's not gonna judge me, and it's like you have to have a space where you can be free, and express that vulnerability. But I feel like you can have that with your parents or family, but it's like you have to give them that space to where they feel like they can do that. And I think the only way of doing that is just not telling you, hey, it's going to be okay. Because, like, that's also the last thing you want to hear. Like, I don't want to hear that it's okay. Like, right now it's not okay. And I just need maybe at least just you tell me, hey, one time let me tell you about something I went through. It's like, don't even sit there and tell them, yo, you're going to be fine. Because like, I feel like at that point, you're not validating the way they're feeling. Even if it's for the slightest thing, a breakup or whatever, a failing grade. Like, as you get older, you always look back at your past issues and think they're weightless. Yeah. I shouldn't have been. But it's like, that progresses throughout your entire life. No matter what, you're always going to look back at what you went through and think it's not worthy of that, stress that you had. Yeah. So it's like, you're going to do that to yourself. So it's like, you got to understand that what she's going through may just be as heavy as what you're going through as an adult. It's just, it's a different scale. Yeah. And I feel like the only way to truly help somebody, to help them understand that they can talk, is just by sharing the emotions. Yeah. You might not be going through what, somebody else is going through, but the emotions you can relate to that.
Yeah. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, because it's like, in a way, like, I do catch myself telling, like, the kids in our family, like, man, like, let's say they're worried about their friends or some shit like that. And I'm like, bro, when you grow older, you're probably not even going to see these people. Yeah. Like, it's easy for me to, because, I went through that shit, but it's like, but
you
to them it's like,
it, yeah. They don't understand that yet.
To them it's like, nah, these are like my friends for life or whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
But, yeah.
I'm not saying to feed into that, but I think it's important to understand where they're coming from.
And let them know we understand.
Yeah,
right?
That's important. Yeah. Don't be like, oh, I know exactly how you're feeling. Because they're always going to be like, no, you don't. And that's okay. Yeah. That's okay for somebody to feel like that. But I think just acknowledging, that they're, feeling some type of way, maybe attempt to share a time that you had some sort of similar emotion, but also just, you know, applying some affirmations for them. Just, you know, you're loved, you know, hit me up when you need me, you know, like.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is true. But I mean, other than that, bro, we appreciate you for coming to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I feel like we can just keep going. You know,
We can go forever.
yeah. It's just it is a very heavy subject.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm glad we talked about it because you came with it like with some good like feedback about it.
You realize like the way he talks is like if we're talking to like somebody that's our age, right?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Right?
That's
It's
why I'm
crazy,
just
right?
like, I was gonna say, dang, we're taking lessons from like a 21-year-old.
I'm gonna be mad
Yeah.
later because I'm gonna listen to it and think, man, you should have said this, you should have said
Yeah,
that.
nah, bro, it's like that. Like I
Yeah,
did,
yeah.
and I did want to dive into your social media because I feel like you kind of like trickle that in there as well, right?
Try to as authentically as I
Yeah,
can,
because it's not
you know?
like just like just barber, so like your regular barber, you
Yeah.
know. But it's like,
Mm-hmm.
which I like that. It comes off where it's like your social media has a little bit of this with some of that or whatever, you know what I mean? But regardless, though, bro, like we appreciate you from coming.
Thank you for the opportunity,
thank you
just
for
to, you know,
having
express
a
you know,
great conversation, really.
maybe
Yeah.
a part two,
Yeah.
maybe a part two.
Yeah, maybe part two for real.
I
like,
know.
yeah, once you have like the studio and everything running and everything, like for real, like, and then just to see like the progression that you make within like let's say a year or something.
Have you ever done a travel episode?
Yeah,
We've
we have.
done not a crazy travel, but like to
Nah.
different spots. Yeah,
Yeah, it's only 2 times.
two. Yeah, two.
Yeah, 2 was we did a pop up and then we did.
Yeah, we
tilts.
did that one, and then there was a pop up.
No, we did another one, a break free.
Oh, break
Moi,
free.
yeah.
Which that's one of the pictures we're missing.
Yeah, that's
their
not
spot,
that's not
but-
up there. But I mean, maybe like we'll see, right?
Yeah, no, because we're already planning on bringing people back.
Yeah,
like
we
from
are.
a long time ago. Like,
We
Heck yeah.
told them once we get to 1,000, we'll bring y'all back.
yeah, we're here,
1,000.
so yeah. But yeah, the part two.
Thank you
definitely
for
in
coming.
the future.
It was really good, honestly. I feel like I see things differently in a way. Kind of, it's opened my mind, you know, like to be maybe like a little different. But I mean, it's a good conversation, you know,
Yeah.
to
But I
have.
mean, I still took stuff from y'all too. I don't want it to make it seem like, yep,
Yeah, no.
I got it figured out. You know, I got, you know,
Yeah,
I don't.
He's
But
like, I'm
yeah.
only 21.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, bro, now you got our number. You know, like now it's like
Texas.
I want every time we have somebody on, like I want it to become something bigger than
Yeah.
Yeah,
than just a
100%.
guest. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like so, no,
We
it's
want
like
the connection to always just keep growing, you know.
yeah.
So,
So if anything, bro, you just hit us up and all that. You know, and
Appreciate
we're
it.
here and
Yeah.
shit.
No, I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Other than that, guys, make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, follow us on Instagram, follow Chop by Rob, and everything will
Awesome.
be in everything will be in the description below. Other than that,
peace.
much love.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
peace.